There's been rumors about Mitch Trubisky. Think that could happen?
I have not heard the rumors about Mitch Trubisky. And I mean, as a backup, sure. I don't think that makes sense right now as a starter. But look, they've had Josh Rosen and Felipe Franks as their backups this year. And we'll see if either one of those guys is on the roster next year. One would think that they seem to have a plan for Felipe Franks at this point because they've used him a little bit on special teams. They were messing around with him as like a tight end, Taysom Hill type earlier in the season. He's been their number 2 quarterback, surpassing Josh Rosen the last couple of weeks. So I don't know. I had not heard the Mitchell Trubisky stuff. And it's still, again, way, way too early for any of that. And even if they brought in a guy like Trubisky, I don't think that they would be doing that as a starter. I think they would do it as, hey, we want to see this guy. Kind of how I feel like they were doing with Rosen this year. Hey, see this guy for a year, see what he has, and see if it's maybe something that down the road, yeah, maybe he becomes the replacement for Matt Ryan, or maybe it's somebody else, because there are multiple ways to build teams. Like there's this philosophy out there in the NFL, like that you have to build through a rookie quarterback, and you can do that, but there are other ways to build. The Tampa Bay Indianapolis model, that was kind of accidental in both ways, but it can work where you build everything
Best
else.
available.
And then you build everything else, and then you get the quarterback last. And since quarterbacks more and more are kind of trying to force their hands, like we saw with Matthew Stafford last year, there are conversations around Aaron Rodgers, conversations around Russell Wilson, that by the time you've got that rest of the team built, maybe there's a guy out there on the last year of his deal and he becomes a veteran guy that you just kind of drop in, like what happened with Tom Brady in Tampa, like what happened with Phillip Rivers, and then with Carson Wentz via trade in Indianapolis. That's another way to build a roster. And listen, in both those cases, it's led to a Super Bowl and playoff berths.